Bees play an essential role in our ecosystem, being crucial for plant pollination and food production. But there is an intriguing and somewhat tragic fact about these small creatures: when a honeybee stings someone, it dies shortly afterward. At first glance, this behavior seems contradictory. After all, how can an animal sacrifice its own life in an act of defense? Nature is full of mysteries, and in many cases, what seems like a paradox is part of a complex evolutionary balance. The death of the bee after stinging is not merely a flaw in nature's design. In fact, this behavior evolved as a highly effective defense strategy, albeit with a high cost to the bee itself. In this video, we will explore why bees die after stinging, investigating everything from the biology behind this phenomenon to the evolutionary reasons that led to this strategy. We will understand how the bee's death can actually serve a greater purpose: the protection of the entire hive. Get ready for a fascinating journey into the life, death, and defensive instincts of one of the planet's most important pollinators. Bees are much more than simple flying insects. They play a fundamental role in pollinating plants, including many that produce the food we consume. It is estimated that about 1/3 of all the food we eat depends on bee pollination. This means that the survival of bees is crucial for biodiversity and agriculture. Among the different species, honeybees stand out for their complex social organization and vital role in ecosystems. Honeybees live in highly organized colonies, led by a queen and maintained by a workforce of worker bees. The colony's survival depends on the cooperation of all the bees, each performing specific functions, from collecting nectar to defending the hive. This organization allows honeybees to protect their community and ensure the continuity of their species. However, living in a hive exposes bees to various dangers. Hives contain honey, pollen, and young bees, all attractive targets for predators like mammals, birds, and other insects. To protect their homes, honeybees developed a defense strategy that goes beyond mere self-defense. The act of stinging, although fatal to the bee, serves a greater purpose: the protection of the colony. This defensive behavior is especially important because the hive depends on the queen for reproduction. If the colony is destroyed, the entire bee community is threatened. It is in this context of communal life and hive defense that the act of honeybees dying after stinging begins to make sense. They are not simply acting in the name of self-preservation, but in the name of preserving the entire colony. When a honeybee senses that its hive is threatened, it acts quickly to defend its home. The bee's most extreme defense mechanism is its stinger. The bee's stinger is a barbed structure connected to a small venom sac. When the bee stings, the stinger penetrates the target's skin and releases venom, causing pain and irritation. However, due to the barbed shape of the stinger, it becomes lodged in the skin of the mammal or target, making it impossible for the bee to pull it out. When trying to free itself after stinging, the bee tears away part of its own abdomen, including vital organs like the digestive system and part of the nervous system. This action is fatal, leading to the bee's death shortly afterward. What seems like an evolutionary flaw is actually a surprisingly effective defense strategy. By sacrificing its life, the bee not only causes pain to the intruder but also releases alarm pheromones, signaling other bees in the colony to prepare for defense. This mechanism can deter predators and invaders from attacking the hive. But why did evolution lead honeybees to develop a stinger that costs them their lives? One reason lies in the social structure of honeybees. Since they live in large colonies, the survival of the community is more important than that of the individual. A single bee sacrificing its life to protect thousands of others is a small price to pay in evolutionary terms. If the bee's sting can repel a predator, it has fulfilled its role in defending the hive. Moreover, the barbed stinger allows the bee to inject a significant amount of venom, maximizing the sting's impact. The pain caused by the venom and the act of leaving the stinger behind can make predators think twice before attacking a hive again. This defense system, although tragic for the individual bee, is effective in protecting the community and ensuring the colony's continuity. The death of a bee, therefore, is not a futile act, but part of the complex evolutionary balance that keeps the hive safe. The behavior of honeybees when stinging can be understood in light of the evolutionary theory of biological altruism. According to this theory, actions that seem to harm the individual can actually benefit the community or species as a whole. In the case of honeybees, individual sacrifice for the protection of the hive is a clear example of this principle. When a bee stings and dies, it is acting in defense of the queen and the future generations of bees. The queen is responsible for laying eggs, and without her, the colony cannot survive. Evolution has shaped this behavior because, over time, hives that were better defended were more likely to survive and thrive. Even if a worker bee dies when stinging, its action can save hundreds or thousands of other bees, including those that will carry its genetic material forward. Thus, the barbed stinger and the stinging behavior are mechanisms that serve the greater purpose of community protection. It is worth noting that other species of bees and wasps do not share this behavior. Solitary bees, for example, have smooth stingers that allow them to sting repeatedly without sacrificing themselves. Wasps, which do not live in colonies as cohesive as honeybees, also have smooth stingers. This shows how different evolutionary strategies have been adopted by different species according to their survival needs and environment. For honeybees, the sacrifice of a worker is a small cost to ensure the hive's protection and the species' survival. Not all bees die after stinging. In fact, the behavior of dying after stinging is exclusive to honeybees. Other species of bees, such as solitary bees and even some social bees, have smooth stingers. These stingers allow them to defend themselves without sacrificing their lives. When a bee with a smooth stinger stings, it can withdraw the stinger easily and continue flying, ready to attack again if necessary. Wasps also take a different approach. Many wasp species have smooth stingers, allowing them to sting multiple times without harming themselves. Wasps like hornets and yellowjackets are known to be aggressive and capable of stinging repeatedly. This ability makes wasps formidable enemies for many predators, and they often use their stingers as an offensive tool, not just a defensive one. So why did honeybees develop a barbed stinger that results in their own death? The answer lies in the social nature of honeybees. They live in densely populated colonies with a complex social structure. Hive defense is a top priority since the hive contains the queen, the source of new bees, and the honey stores essential for the colony's survival. For a honeybee, sacrificing its life to protect the hive is a fair trade-off in evolutionary terms. The barbed stinger inflicts more damage on the invader and, when left behind, continues to release venom and alarm pheromones, amplifying the hive's defensive response. On the other hand, solitary or less social species, such as solitary bees and wasps, do not depend on hive protection to the same extent. They can afford to have a smooth stinger since they do not need to protect such a large group of individuals. This comparison highlights how the diversity of defense strategies among bees and wasps reflects their unique ecology and lifestyle. Each species has evolved a behavior adapted to its specific survival needs. The defensive behavior of honeybees has a significant impact on the ecosystem. As essential pollinators, bees help maintain biodiversity and food production. Their willingness to defend the hive, even at the cost of some workers' lives, ensures that hives continue to thrive and play their vital role in pollination. Without bees, many ecosystems would collapse, leading to a decline in agricultural production and plant diversity. Culturally, bees are often seen as symbols of community, hard work, and sacrifice. The fact that a honeybee is willing to die to protect its hive is a powerful metaphor for altruism and the importance of the common good. In various cultures, bees represent cooperation and loyalty. In recent times, the plight of bees has drawn attention to environmental issues, with conservation campaigns highlighting the importance of protecting these essential pollinators. The story of bees dying after stinging is, therefore, more than just a biological fact. It is a story of sacrifice, survival, and interdependence. It reflects how, in nature, the well-being of the group often outweighs that of the individual, especially when that group is so fundamental to the health of the entire ecosystem. The death of a bee after stinging is part of the natural balance, a reminder that every creature has a specific and vital role to play in the complex web of life. The fact that honeybees die after stinging is a fascinating example of evolutionary sacrifice. Although it may seem tragic at first, this behavior is a highly effective defense strategy that protects the hive and ensures the species' survival. By sacrificing itself, a single bee can trigger a defensive response that safeguards the queen, the young bees, and the honey stores, key pillars of the colony. This story reminds us of the complexity of nature and the surprising adaptations that evolve over time. Bees, with their seemingly paradoxical behavior, demonstrate how the balance of life often requires individual sacrifices for the greater good. As pollinators, they play a vital role in our ecosystem, and understanding their behavior helps us appreciate and protect their presence.